You're listening to There's a Podcast in the Percolator, a Twin Peaks podcast. Delve into the mysteries, characters, and themes of Twin Peaks, offering insights and commentary along the way. Now here are this week's hosts of There's a Podcast in the Percolator.
Welcome. This is a Twin Peaks based podcast because that's definitely what the world needs at this time, is another niche podcast. Before I get introduced, check out my YouTube channel, Smokey's videos for comic, movie, and other pop culture related content if this is your first time ever hearing my luscious voice. My name is Northwest Passage Blake, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lena Palmer.
Palmer?
Yeah, you didn't like that?
So you want me to be killed?
Look, there's only so many L's I could find related to the first episode. Mine is the original title of the show. It was going to be called Northwest Passage, and it was going to take place in North Dakota, maybe? I don't remember. I'm doing different names each episode. That's the shtick I'm trying to pull off here that I'm failing to do.
Clearly.
Okay, so I want to get this started with talking about our experiences with Twin Peaks, specifically because you just started watching it for the first time earlier this month, and I should note that the day that this episode is coming out is the 35th anniversary of Laura Palmer's tragic demise. The first episode, the pilot that we will be discussing this episode, takes place on Friday, February 24th, 1989. That's sort of where I ended it. That's the whole thing, is that we're releasing it on Twin Peaks Day, I guess, or Laura Palmer's Death Day. Not related to Happy Death Day. So what? What? You know I hate that movie. Don't make me talk about it more.
Why'd you bring it up?
Because I don't know. I need a drink of coconut water. This episode is sponsored by C2O Coconut Water, the original flavor.
No, it's not.
I wish it was. So, anyway, back on track, because I immediately went off of it. I got you to start watching Twin Peaks earlier this month because you like murder mysteries?
Yeah, I'm on a murder mystery kick.
Yeah, she's been on a murder mystery kick. You also... Well, you don't really like supernatural stuff, do you?
I kinda do. Depends on...
You don't like spooky supernatural stuff.
Oh,
You like Casper and that Netflix show that you just started watching.
Okay, yeah. I don't like scary supernatural, but I like basic, like, this is weird supernatural.
I was able to convince you to watch it because you had just finished watching Netflix's hottest new murder mystery, whatever that show's called, about the high school. School Spirits, based off of a comic book.
Graphic novel.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Don't make me get into this.
Don't make me get into this.
We watched the pilot episode, which there is a reason why it was so long. Pilot episodes usually are a bit longer, but this one has a very specific reason why they made them that much longer. And you were hooked right away. You wanted to keep watching it.
Well, they started out with finding a dead body. Yeah. How would that not hook you from the very beginning?
That's true. Well, I mean, it hooked the world in 1990. We have been binge watching it since. We're halfway through season 2 at this point. Had you ever heard of Twin Peaks? Were you familiar with it beforehand?
Yeah, I've heard it brought up before, and some of the famous actors or actress, they always had it, like a hashtag I was in Twin Peaks or something like that, and I always wondered what it was. And I Googled it a few times because of that, and I just realized it was a TV show.
And you saw the Hooters knockoff?
No.
Were you familiar with who David Lynch was? Had you ever heard that name before?
Yeah.
Had you heard good things about it, or you like, stay away from this man? My history with Twin Peaks is murky and hazy because I have a terrible memory, because my brain has been addled. I think I started watching it in high school, and season 1 was always my favorite. I just enjoy the storyline more. I think a lot of people will say that season 1 and then the half of season 2 is probably the best part. But I have never gotten halfway through season 2. So at this point of our watching, this is all brand new to me. I haven't seen season 3, or aka Twin Peaks: The Return, or Fire Walk with Me, although I am very aware of what happens in it, and I can't wait for you to see. I have no idea where I heard of Twin Peaks, how I learned about it. It's a mystery to me. It appeared before me one day like I was driving through a forest of Douglas firs and came across it in the early morning hours of the day. Don't look at me like that. This isn't a video podcast. You can't do that. So anyway, would you like to begin the discussion of the first episode?
Yeah.
I'm just sort of going to read bits from the Twin Peaks fan wiki, just because I feel like that would be the easiest way to go about doing this. Fun fact, here's a thing that I learned. This is something that I continually bring up as we watch the show. The population of Twin Peaks. Do you remember what number it is?
I don't remember exactly, but I know it ends with a 1.
It is 51,201 people. Although they definitely need to update that, because as the series progresses, obviously. But I think it would have been funny if in episode 3 or so they changed it to 51,200. But anyway, it was made that large, which I feel is way bigger than Twin Peaks should be, just based on the maps that they show in the show itself. Because ABC Network felt that the town's original population of 5,120 people was too small and unrelatable. So they added a 1 at the end, is what they did to address that issue that the network had with the population. But I don't understand where all those fucking people are.
I mean, it's probably bigger than we think.
I guess, but we see a map in the show, and it doesn't look that big.
It doesn't have a scale.
Well, why do I need to weigh it for?
Really?
On the morning of February 24th, 1989, in the Washington town of Twin Peaks, good old Pete Martell is leaving his home, the home that he works at, owned by Josie Packard, his wife's sister-in-law, technically. Well, I guess not technically, that's what they are. To go fishing, and what does he find on the nice, quiet, cold beach?
A body wrapped in plastic.
Can you do it in the Pete voice?
No, I'm not doing the Pete voice.
She's wrapped in plastic. So that hooked you right away, right?
Yeah.
Did you expect it to happen that quickly?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, getting ready for this, is that the story sort of begins in media res. I don't know if I've told you this before, but I studied film in college. You
took one class.
Well, don't tell people that. It sounds a lot less impressive when you say it like that. And in media res is, for anyone unfamiliar, the story begins after the story has begun. Like, we go in halfway through it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel, because the murder's already happened. And apparently in the international version, they kind of ruin that. I'll get into that later. Like, the international version just doesn't seem great. We're introduced to all of the characters before ostensibly the main character of Special Agent Dale Cooper is introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And murder mysteries don't really do that. Like, I feel if Twin Peaks was made today, if they were like, let's remake Twin Peaks, it's the 35th anniversary, let's redo it. I don't know, I feel like the whole first episode would be a lead up to Laura's death, which is what the movie is, pretty much. So, I don't know, what do you think? How do you think that would have worked?
Today it would have, if they did remake it today, it would have went a lot faster, because the pilot, we had to go through everything from Laura's parents not finding her, to her calling everybody in town trying to find her.
The football coach who got a whole scene dedicated to him.
Yeah, to calling the whole town trying to find her, and then they all think she's with her boyfriend, so now we gotta find the boyfriend. And then we find Bobby, and she's not with him. And then where does it go after that?
Yeah, Pete finds the body. He calls the sheriff's department, where we get a long scene with Lucy Moran.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was, like, your favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
You love her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is her real voice.
I could imagine.
And then there's that whole situation where they just talk back and forth. Let's see. The deputy breaks down crying. That is Deputy Andy, when they go to find the body. Truman and Hayward turn over the body, discovering that it is none other than Laura Palmer, prom queen, Excelsior. What's the word I'm looking for? excelling high school student. She's doing Meals on Wheels. She's probably in a bunch of extracurricular crap. Everybody loves her. Now she's dead.
Isn't she also a cheerleader, right?
I don't know if they ever bring that up, but I wouldn't surprise me if she was.
Because didn't they something about like her being a cheerleader, and of course she's dating the head
Oh
football boy?
yeah, they did. But yeah, I guess they do. Yeah, she's dead. She's wrapped in plastic, which I wanted this podcast to be called originally, but you thought that was too dark.
I didn't say that. I
That
just
was
didn't
too
really
creepy.
like it.
Laura's mother, Sarah, then discovers she is gone, and that's when she calls Bobby Briggs. No, she doesn't call Bobby Briggs. She calls the football coach, who tells her to call Bobby Briggs. That football coach that never comes back again. I don't know why I'm so fixated on that one scene. Oh yeah, and then it goes to Audrey Horne, who leaves for school from her home at the Great Northern Hotel. Let's bring that up. Let's talk about the fact that they live at the hotel.
That's not that weird.
Like a pseudo, proto Zack and Cody.
They own it, though. That's not that weird.
I don't know.
And it's a great place.
I mean, yeah,
I think I'd want to live in a hotel if I owned it. Like a nice hotel like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. It just seems odd.
It's probably the nicest place in that entire
It
town.
is 100% the nicest place in that whole town.
Then where else would they live unless they wanted to use their... Well, they kind of also stress in the show it's kind of hard to buy land. So
That's true.
they wanted to build like a mansion or whatever. One, they'd have to take the money to do that. Two, they'd have to find the land. And
Yeah. Well, since this is a logging town, pretty much all of the land nearby is, I assume, owned by various logging corporations and companies, or maybe like... Well, there's also the government. There's Bobby Briggs's father, Major Briggs.
mm-hmm.
He works at a nearby government facility that we have yet to discover in the show itself. So,
But they obviously probably are taking up a lot of land.
yeah, the military government's doing stuff. I don't know. It just seems weird because I don't know. I don't know why it seems weird to me that they live in the hotel.
That's not that weird.
It just seems odd that you're sharing your house with a bunch of other people.
They probably have their own private suite.
It's-
Like on the top
yeah,
floor or something like that.
It's not that tall of a building.
Well, okay. Well, somewhere else. They probably own a whole floor.
So yeah, we're introduced to Benjamin Horne and Audrey Horne. Probably, well, I don't know about Benjamin Horne, but Audrey Horne's definitely a popular character right after Dale Cooper. I ship it. And also Leland Palmer, Laura's father, is introduced, and he is informed in person that his daughter is dead. Then they establish the very long storyline, looking back on it, although this whole show takes place over the course of like a month maybe at this point. The Horns wanting to purchase the Packard sawmill land for their Ghostwood development project. Benjamin Horne wants to buy up all the land and produce like suburbs, I guess, for his little town. It kind of reminds me of this show called Blackpool, which I absolutely love. It is a musical starring David Morrissey, set in a small English town of Blackpool, where it's like penny slots and cheap little casinos. But he wants to build this extravagant, like multi-story, just like Las Vegas style casino in this shitty little town. Of course, it doesn't work.
Why are you talking about another show?
So yeah, they established that storyline. Someone named Heidi, who I don't think ever shows up in the show again, probably because she got fired for being late to work so many times at the Double R Diner, shows up as Shelley Johnson and Bobby leave together.
Oh, yeah.
Their secret relationship being suspected by the diner's owner, Norma Jennings. Which is ridiculous that anybody would not believe that they're a couple at this point. Because, like, there's the whole scene where whatever happens... Do you remember what happens in the diner when they're introduced?
No.
Okay, me neither.
It was just very obvious they had a thing.
Yeah, well, it's made even more obvious by the fact that they're parked right out front of the diner, facing inward to the windows, and then they go into the car and start making out.
Oh, yeah.
And Shelley's like, oh, I hope nobody sees us. Norma Jennings is introduced. Bobby plays music. Oh, yeah, he puts on a shitty song that no one likes on the jukebox, and then he leaves at full volume, too. And then they take a drive out to Shelley's home, where her husband Leo Johnson has returned home from his trucking job, and they all freak out, and Bobby frantically leaves. Sheriff Harry S. Truman, no relation to the president of the exact same name, then takes Leland to the hospital where he confirms the identity of the body, which he does, and breaks down into tears. At school, which, here we go.
There we go.
This is your... I feel like this scene is the one that made you most confused of the whole thing.
I just had a lot of questions about it that were, you know... Well, are you going to read your little descriptor before I start asking questions?
So, Donna Hayward, Laura Palmer's best friend, goes to her locker and then looks at the nearby Audrey, amused by her smoking. James Hurley then approaches her, asking if she's seen Laura, and comments on that he wants to go and have a picnic or something. Bobby then arrives at school, and he's informed that he's wanted in the office, and his best friend Mike Nelson confirms that something has happened. There's also a scene in the pilot where I can't remember who is walking down the hallway. I think it's Donna and somebody else. Maybe James. Or maybe it's Audrey. I can't remember. But they're walking down the hallway of the high school. And then in the background, this guy slams his locker shut, spins around, and then moonwalks down a hallway. Do you remember that?
No, you didn't point it out.
It's so weird. I really wish that they had focused more on the school aspect. Mm-hmm. Don't you?
Yeah, some of it. The one thing I questioned about that was when they finally get to class and, like, they notice that...
Laura's not there.
Laura's not there. And that was quite interesting because Donna, her best friend, just realizes that Laura's not in her seat and then just breaks down crying, which is kind of like, what the fuck, bitch? Like, what did you know?
Well, yeah, that's a really interesting part that I haven't really thought of before. I feel like when I watched this for the first time, I kind of like spoiled it for myself, maybe, or I just wasn't paying attention. But when you watch this for the first time, you're just like, this is weird. Like, her friend's not there. Why is she breaking down crying like she knows something happened to her?
Yeah.
Did you suspect Donna or James at all during that?
I suspected James, actually, with the way she looked at her.
Oh, man.
Because just the way she looked at her when she realized, like, it was weird. She just realized that Laura's not in her seat, made this really weird face to James, like she knew he was with her, yeah. Which he was.
Yeah.
Spoiler. And just starts, well, she doesn't full on break down yet, but she starts crying, and it's like, what? And then finally, the sheriff convinces the principal
to make an announcement
that Laura died, which I find absurd. Was that a common thing back in the 90s, just to tell the whole school
to have
that
a
someone
moment
died
of silence
and have a moment of silence with them? Was that common? Was that what they did back then?
I have, based on my experience from high school in the late 80s, yeah.
They would have done that? Okay, yeah, nowadays, no. The teachers get sent an email, and then it's just hush-hush if anyone brings it up, but there's counselors on site. That's, like, how it is now. But with social media now, like, the kids spread it anyways.
Oh, my God. Imagine the remake. Imagine they pull a Fresh Prince on Twin Peaks.
What? Why Fresh Prince?
Because they took Fresh Prince, which was this eccentric sitcom, and Twin Peaks is an eccentric, surrealist murder mystery. And then they turned Fresh Prince into a hardcore, like, teen drama.
Why are you talking about French?
Because I'm bringing up that if they were to remake Twin Peaks, I feel like that's what they would do. They would remake it as, like, a more serious show.
Yeah, well, I think they'd try to make it more peppy instead of surreal.
Yeah. Well... That's what Riverdale is.
Yeah, kind of like Riverdale, but I don't know how well that would do.
But I was thinking, imagine in the new reboot Twin Peaks that we are conjuring into existence as we speak, Snapchat or TikTok Laura Palmer. Like, she could not get away with the shit she's getting away with in 1989, obviously, but
well, yeah, that's
she might be even crazier if it's a modern Laura Palmer.
Well, the nice thing about this being in the 90s is that, not everything was tracked like it is nowadays. You didn't post every single little aspect of your life. So it was kind of nice because you had the mystery behind Laura because you didn't really know her. She didn't post every single goddamn thing about her life.
You're right. What they should do in the remake is make it set in 2006, and instead of Laura Palmer's secret diary, it's Laura Palmer's secret MySpace account.
No, she would have a Twitter.
But yeah,
when did Twitter come out again?
Twitter was like
Twitter
late
was
2000s.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like 2009 or so.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, when you watch it for the first time, it's just like, it's you might think that she's just like, oh, well, why are they having her overact like this?
Mm-hmm.
But then, obviously, as the show progresses, Donna knew a lot more than I think even Laura thought she did. Like, it kind of seems like Laura tried to keep her out of it for the most part of her
all
doings.
of her bad things, but Donna was there.
Yeah,
Donna realized she wasn't she wasn't as oblivious as Laura thought.
Yeah, and Donna, she partakes with Laura and partying and whatnot. But it's kind of like I don't know, is Laura trying to like protect her a little more by like she's more protective of Donna? I'm saying this based on something that happens in the movie, which you haven't seen yet.
Okay.
But it's just an interesting dynamic that I never really thought of. Finally watching this with you, who've never seen it before.
Well, that's kind of already spoiled. I'm not gonna spoil it, yeah, but yeah, that's obvious when we discover more about Laura in season 2. Like right before we find out who her murderer is, it's pretty obvious she was trying to protect Laura, especially with everything she wrote in that.
Donna?
I mean, yeah, I meant Donna. It's pretty obvious with everything she wrote in that diary that she just didn't want to drag Donna down with her, but Donna still was there.
She still starts smoking cigarettes and wearing sunglasses. My least favorite part of the Donna arc. But yeah, so there's that scene, and so at this point, what did you think? You thought James was in on it?
I figured James knew something that he did. Like, he was with her, he knew something, but of course I didn't know what. And they kind of already spoil it in the pilot that he didn't do it, so.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, they spoil a lot more in the international version.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do they just straight up tell you who the killer is?
Yes.
They do?
Yes. You want me to talk about it?
That was no, not yet. What if these people don't want it spoiled?
Okay, I won't spoil this 35-year-old story.
I thought we were just talking about the pilot today.
Well, that is the pilot.
I'll get to it later.
Okay. So yeah, Bobby is called into the weirdest library I've ever seen. It kind of looks like it's a library / front office. And he tells deputies Andy and the coolest motherfucker in this whole show, Deputy Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
I love Hawk. What are your Hawk thoughts?
My Hawk thoughts? I don't know what else to say other than he's really cool.
Yeah, I love him.
He's just really cool and chill, and like
he's just a good person.
He's the one who like surprises you like throughout the show doing something like badass.
Yeah. He's like, probably the most action oriented character, I think.
And he's just like such a but like he's also like kind of, since he's not like a main character, he's also doing things behind the scenes that like really help the show move along. That's
true. Yeah, because you can't fucking trust Andy, and they're the only two named co-workers that aren't Lucy. Which I wonder what the staff is like at the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Office, because we see a lot of them.
I mean, there's not that much more, though. It's not that big of a town.
Well, it is a 51,201, well, 200 and 200. 51,200 population at this point. So they gotta send them out somewhere. Bobby Briggs tells the deputies of his activities the previous night and earlier in the morning, and Truman sits down with them, informing Bobby of Laura's death. Bobby is shocked, starts insisting that he loved her, and is taken in for questioning. That is also an odd scene that I feel...
Yeah, that was weird.
Compared to the Donna and James in the classroom scene, that Bobby scene really doesn't come back at all, because they start focusing on Bobby, Shelley, and Leo's storyline.
Yeah, that line was weird, especially when finally Cooper interrogates him. When Cooper finally gets in town, and he just kind of proves that he never actually loved Laura, which is kind of hinting at the fact that he was cheating on her.
Yeah. And,
like, it was just kind of so interesting that he could even already tell from there. And I was just like, you liar, you didn't love her.
It's also weird that Bobby, he's on the football team. He's like a star athlete or something.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird, it's one of the many subversions in this show, is that Bobby Briggs is a star athlete for this 51,200 population town. And yeah, that's like I was saying earlier, I wish that we had seen more. He doesn't really
act like it, you know what
Not
I mean?
at all.
He acts more like a...
Is it because his dad? Is it a High School Musical situation?
I don't know.
Does he just want to sing?
Well, like, I remember correctly, we never even see him in a football jersey or anything like that.
No, we don't even see him in a Letterman
he
jacket.
acts more like a biker kid, which is weird because he hates.
Yeah, he hates James and the bikers.
He hates the biker kids, and I'm just like, why? It makes no sense that he doesn't even act like a jock.
He acts more like he should be in George Lucas's first film, second film. First film? American Graffiti, which is about, like, you know, car culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's a greaser. That's the word I was looking for. He acts more like a...
Like
no, because the weird thing is, the bikers dress like greasers, but they're not really that greasy.
Well, they don't have to be greasy to be bikers.
I guess, but they look like greasers. Anyway, let's move on from the school point. At the sheriff's department... The sheriff's department asks Mr. Palmer about Laura's activities the previous night, or Mrs. Palmer, rather. Oh, yeah, they go to the Palmer household.
Oh, yeah, they're just trying to figure out where she was,
Yeah. Sarah Palmer confirms that she saw her daughter last night around 9 p.m. and that later she had a phone call. Hawk searches Laura's room and finds a diary and camcorder. Andy then informs Sheriff Truman of a call that came in from the mill worker, Yannick Pulowski, reporting that his daughter, Ronette, is also missing.
Oh, yeah,
And the plot thickens. So, I wonder how Laura's sneaking out at night. Seems pretty fucking easy.
I mean, it probably wasn't that hard. She probably even just went out the front door.
Yeah, I bet so. Do you know what her dad does for a living? Do you remember?
He's a lawyer or attorney?
Yeah, he's a lawyer. He's the whole town's lawyer, apparently, because I guess he's the only one, because he's Benjamin Horne's lawyer. He is Donna Hayward's father's lawyer, who's the town doctor. So at the mill, Josie and Catherine fight. What do you think of Josie Packard, now that you know her sort of whole story? Because I don't think she comes back.
I did kind of like her until she seems like a snake. Like, I thought she was cool and, like, international, and now I'm kind of like, no, I don't like
You thought she was innocent?
Not innocent, no. But the hell that girl was acting not innocent. But I thought she was, like, at least sweet.
Yeah, she was with Pete and Truman, Harry. I love her interactions with Pete and Josie.
Yeah.
It's
She's
like
really sweet.
Yeah, it's like a father adoptive daughter sort of situation. Especially when he asks her to go in on this like the fishing tournament or something with him.
To fish with him, even though she doesn't know how to fish.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't worry about it, I'll do it." That's my Pete Martell impression. Sort of is slowly turning into my Jack Nicholson impression. So they get into an argument, Josie and the horribly evil Catherine, and Josie decides to shut the mill down for the day due to the murder and disappearance of one of the employees' daughters.
Laura's murder is Ronette's disappearance.
Yeah. But then, what should happen? If she had just waited a little bit, she wouldn't have had to do that. Because Ronette is discovered on a bridge, dirty and bruised with tattered clothes and rope around her wrists.
And yeah, she's only wearing like a undergarment silk thing.
Yeah, it looks like a burlap sack.
No, it was silk, so it's like you would normally wear those under like a dress.
Oh.
So she wasn't even in her proper clothes anymore.
Well, yeah. I didn't. It shouldn't. I don't think anybody watched that and was like, why did she go hiking dressed like that?
Well, no, that's what I was thinking. Obviously, she was somewhere else where she was dressed up. Or was undressed.
Yeah. But something I didn't realize until I was getting ready to record this is the reason why Federal Bureau of Investigation Special Agent Dale Cooper is brought into town. Do you know why?
No.
It's because Ronette crosses over state lines.
Oh, is that why he's brought in?
Yeah, it's because the woods where they're at, it's in the next state over, which would be...
What? Wait, no.
They're in Oregon.
Oregon, yeah. No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Well, I thought they were in Washington.
Oh, wait, yeah, no, they are in Washington. Those two states are so interchangeable. It would have had to be in Idaho, and Twin Peaks is not close enough to Idaho. It is close enough to Canada. I don't know. Maybe I am just making that up completely. Or maybe the person that told me that is making that up completely. But I thought it was a neat explanation. James then goes to his uncle, the coolest guy in the show, right after Hawk. What is this? Eccentric, she looked it up. Why did Dale Cooper get called in? Eccentric FBI agent Cooper arrives in Twin Peaks to investigate the brutal murder of popular high school student Laura Palmer. I know that! Anyway, yeah. So James heads over to Ed Big Ed Hurley's gas station, Big Ed's gas farm, as it's called, where he gives him a note to give to Donna, requesting her to meet him at the Roadhouse later that evening. And then we are introduced to Ed's crazy wife, Nadine, which you had tons of questions about.
Yeah, she's weird.
And then finally, here's a little preview of our trivia game that I'm going to make you play. Do you remember what time Federal Bureau of Investigation Special Agent Dale Cooper arrives in Twin Peaks?
What? No, why would I remember the time?
11:30 a.m.
Why is that important?
I don't know. It's because that's like one of his first lines. He makes his way to the hospital to meet Sheriff Truman, informing him that the FBI is taking over the case. And they go to see Ronette, who is attended by Dr. Louise Shelby. I like that they at least named her, because I don't think she shows up anymore. And Ronette is completely unresponsive. She's in a...
medical coma.
Is it a medical-induced coma?
Or just a... I thought it was...
like a state of shock?
Maybe, yeah. She's still in a coma, no matter what way you say it.
And then Cooper does something weird.
He checks her fingernail.
What did you think he was doing?
Well, obviously he was looking for a clue. I just didn't know what.
Like
Because
flesh
that's a
or...
weird place to put something.
Yes, it really is. Who would ever suspect something is under the fingernail? The special agent and the sheriff then get into an elevator. I doubt you remember. Do you remember who is in the elevator?
What, isn't it the doctor, the psychiatrist?
Dr. Jacoby? No, he's on one of the floors that the elevator stops at that the third passenger gets off in.
Oh.
In the first episode, they get into the elevator with the one-armed man.
Oh, yeah.
That is something I finally noticed on this rewatch. I never paid attention. And then they meet everybody's favorite doctor, Dr. Lawrence Jacoby. Dr. Jacoby tells them that Laura was his patient and that to keep that on the down low because her parents didn't know, which is all kinds of gross implications because a lot of the stuff that happens to these people, they're all underage for the most part, aside from like Audrey, I guess. Mm-hmm. I think she's the oldest of the kids.
Well, she's only 18.
Dr. Jacoby tells him to keep it on the down low, and he also wants to help them as examine the body for some reason. I don't know if he just wants to see Laura one last time, or I don't know what.
I don't remember that part. He was just being weird.
Yeah, he asks him, and then Dale Cooper is immediately just like stone-faced, no, go away. And then they walk off, and then he stops Harry in the hallway, and he's like, that's the psychiatrist? That's the one psychiatrist in this 51,200 population town? Then they go to the morgue, and Cooper investigates the body of Laura Palmer, where he finds a small piece of paper with a letter. Do you remember what letter it was?
R?
Under her fingernail. Her left ring fingernail. Isn't it always the left ring finger?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, shit. I recognize this. Meanwhile, Donna meets Ed at the gas station and retrieves the note. And then Mike arrives, her boyfriend, the character that really goes nowhere.
Yeah.
They really were like, I don't know what to do with Mike. He has football practice. That's why he doesn't show up. Because he, unlike Bobby, actually cares for the sport. And they get into like a big argument where he's like, you're my property, bitch, pretty much.
That really doesn't go anywhere. That was just annoying.
Yeah, they never bring up the fact that, well, do they? Well, they kind of have that plot line where Bobby and Mike drunkenly go to Donna's house. Remember?
Yeah.
But then after that, it's just like, whatever, they're broken up, I guess. She's with James sometimes. When he's not trying to get with Laura's doppelganger. Back in the station, Cooper examines what was found in Laura's room, and inside the diary, he finds a safe deposit key in a small plastic envelope, also containing white powder, which he suspects to be cocaine. And he's correct. She gets a bunch of coke. I want to know how a teenager can get a safety deposit box.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably the 90s, so they were like, okay.
She probably just banged the bank manager.
Sure.
Sheriff Truman, however, has his doubts about it being cocaine due to Laura's popular character in the town as a, goody two-shoes sort of.
Just a good girl.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, couldn't have Laura been... Oh, no, she was 17. Never mind.
What?
They state her actual age. I was about to say she could have been 18, but...
Yeah, no, Audrey's the oldest. Which is because I guess because they wanted to try and...
Yeah, I know.
Do Audrey and Cooper. Oh, yeah, and in the diary, there's a statement that Laura was nervous about meeting... Jay. Dun dun dun. Later, Andy and a group of other lawmen discover the murder scene, an old train car, and Andy requests to Lucy to not tell Harry that he cried. Okay, then is when they start questioning Bobby, asking for his activities with Laura Palmer the previous night. He tells them that they had a fight, and then they watch a tape that was found in the camcorder that shows Laura and Donna having a picnic. And Cooper states that Laura had been seeing someone else, even though Bobby insists that he doesn't know the identity of this J person. Obviously, we're meant to believe it's, James. Then Audrey starts fucking up her dad's business because she has the day off of school. There's something going on with Audrey, right? Like, mentally, I mean. Mm-hmm. Like, sociopathy, maybe?
I wouldn't say sociopath, just a little loopy.
She is malevolently ditzy, I think is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
At least in this first couple episodes, until she has an... what am I trying to say?
Epiphany?
No, not an epiphany. I was going to say an infatuation with Cooper.
Oh, I guess.
And then, wants to start helping him because she wants to, marry him.
She wants to run away with him.
And get married.
I don't think she ever said she wanted to get married.
It's implied. Bobby is then free to go, and Donna is questioned, and they're like, okay, well, what's going on with the letter J? I think that is when... Anyway, the way that this boils down to is the classic trope that is not commonly used anymore, where you're watching an old video and then you're able to zoom in so far that you can see exquisite detail, and that detail is James's his hog, his motorcycle. Yes, it's that's right. I forgot. Do you remember where the bike, his motorcycle, is reflected?
What do you mean, in the sunglasses?
No, it's reflected off of her eyeball.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they see it in the video. Let's see. The Norwegians leave town, and Benjamin Horne is very upset because they were told about Laura's murder. Cooper and Truman then go to the train car where they find a bloodied hammer, a couple of rags, half of a heart-shaped necklace on a pile of dirt, which is, I think, the weirdest part of this, and a note written in someone's blood that reads, "Fire, walk with me." James continues to sit and observe the other half of the necklace, says the Wikipedia page. So what did you think about any of those clues when you were first watching it?
It was kind of obvious they were going to go over the necklace first, just because of how it looked like it was placed there instead of just randomly, ripped off Laura's neck. But...
it's almost sacrificial.
Yeah, and then... of course, the message in the blood, that's just weird. Fire, walk with me, it's not even, I don't know, what would someone write at a murder scene?
No. The Zodiac letter, you mean?
I mean, it makes sense once you find out who actually did it, but...
there's some stuff with Audrey and her family. We also learned that Laura was tutoring Johnny, her autistic brother. Cooper and Truman then go to the bank where Laura's safety deposit box was, and inside they find a copy of Flesh World magazine and over $10,000 in cash. In the magazine, they also find a photo of Ronette Pulowski, confirming a connection with Laura. And inside is a photo of Leo Johnson's truck, which I think is the weirdest part of that.
Well, that magazine wasn't just, models posing. It was anyone could send any picture.
Yeah, it was like a hookup spot.
Yeah.
Is that when you started to suspect it was Leo Johnson?
When I saw his truck, yeah.
Leo, meanwhile, is at home, observing the ashtray, and questions Shelley why there's more than one brand of cigarettes inside, which is insane.
Actually pretty smart he caught that. Give the man some credit, his wife is cheating on him.
Yeah, but there's a reason she's cheating on him. I also, you just said give the spousal abusers some credit.
Not for that.
Oh yeah, he tells her to start smoking one brand or he'll break her neck. Cooper then later that night leads a town meeting informing the populace that decided to show up, all 20 of them, of this 51,200 population town, that Laura Palmer is dead, and it's believed to be linked to a murder of a young woman named Teresa Banks that occurred the previous year in a like a southern part of Washington, and he believes that the killer may in fact be a citizen of Twin Peaks, and a curfew is put into effect for citizens under the age of 18. Later that night, Dr. Hayward tells his wife Eileen about the murder, including unreleased information about a necklace, and that the deputies are searching for the other half, which is how Donna overhears it, and then she later sneaks out of the home to tell James, that if they catch him with that necklace, he's in big trouble. Or as Jar Jar would say, "You sign big doo-doo." Mm-hmm. Man, that's what they should do. Jar Jar in Twin Peaks.
No.
How many fucking kids do the Haywards have, by the way? Like 3? That dude is ancient. There's such an age discrepancy between Dr. Hayward and his wife and their children. He's like Robert De Niro.
Or his job could have aged him. He seems to be the only qualified
doctor in the whole town. Yeah. Oh no, there's that doctor that was treating Ronette, I guess.
Well, he seems like the most trusted, most qualified. He's probably working all the time.
That's true. Yeah, he's he's working for the sheriff's department as well. Like, he helps them in their cases, it seems. Yeah. And he's also doing house calls, I bet. I don't know if that's ever established, but it seems like the type of town, almost like the type of town that would have only 5,000 residents. Mm-hmm. That's so weird. Why? What's the problem with 5,000 population? Mm-hmm. It's a small town. How is that not relatable? How is 50,000 people relatable?
Yeah, 50,000 sounds too much, but I mean, I somewhat believe it.
Well, I don't. I think there's some sort of conspiracy going on here.
Well, with all the logging mills and everything, that takes a lot of people to work, though, so...
Oh, yeah, and this is when Bobby and Mike show up at the house, and they're drunk and driving around. Then Dr. Hayward learns that Donna snuck out, and they're like, "Don't worry, Doctor, we'll find her." You know, like John Travolta.
Yeah, which is weird, because, again, they're supposed to be, like, the good boys or whatever.
Are they?
Well, like...
I think James is supposed to be the good boy.
I don't know. It's weird that there's no actual typical... I guess it'd be James. They just don't treat him like that in the beginning.
Did you ever watch soap operas?
Kinda. No, why are we bringing that up?
Well, because this is a soap opera. This takes...
I know that.
So I'm just trying to think of, like, are these archetypal characters that are, like, in soap operas related to high schools and stuff? Like, is this a subversion of that sort of trope that you would have seen in, like, Days of Our Lives or
Kinda.
Whatever other soap operas exist? So later they go to the Roadhouse, seemingly the only business in town aside from the Double R Diner that's open after the sun goes down. That's another thing, is that this is a very, you roll the sidewalks up at night kind of town, which again makes no sense for a population of 50,200 people. So they go to the Roadhouse, which you were confused by as to what sort of establishment this is exactly.
Well, they made it sound like a biker joint,
yeah.
Which it is, but then you get inside and it's...
And it's also like an artisan cabaret.
Yeah.
At this time, Cooper and Truman go to their little stakeout at the Roadhouse, waiting for Donna to show up. And who else is at the Roadhouse but Big Ed and Norma, who discuss their plans to leave their respective spouses so that they can finally be together. We learn more about that at a later point, what their whole situation was, which I feel is very cathartic for you because you were really wanting to know what the deal was.
It was just weird.
Then Bobby and Mike arrive, and apparently the little biker guys in the bar are named Joey Paulson and Scotty. They notice that they're there, and that Donna shows up as well, and they're like, "Oh shit, Mike and Bobby are causing trouble." And then a fight breaks out when Mike lays his hands on Donna, and Ed walks over to go fight him, and Bobby punches Ed in the kidney, and then Big Ed falls to the ground and, like, hits his head on a bar stool, it seems. Because he's just out. He'll later say that he thinks his drink was spiked.
Because he couldn't dodge the punch. He felt dizzy.
Yeah, and who was it that spiked him? Was it one of the French Canadians?
Well, no, it was Jacques. Because he was bartending?
Yeah, he's a French Canadian. It is the French Canadian. So yeah, they get into a fight, and all the other patrons start fighting, and then it's the classic, you know, the piano player starts playing, and the one of the people who's fighting gets thrown up against the bar, and the bartender smashes a glass bottle on his head and keeps continuing to wipe down some mugs. And outside, Donna escapes with one of the bikers, Joey, apparently, and they drive away to meet James in the middle of the woods, which I feel is probably not a great place to take your motorcycle. Those old dirt back roads. The Cooper and Truman give pursuit, but then they lose the trail, and they're like, oh, well, drats. Let's head back, I guess. Right when James and Donna are leaving. But what did they do in the meantime out in those fair woods? They talk about what happened to Laura the night before, and James tells her that she was acting like a completely different person. Then he breaks down and starts crying. Donna tries to calm him, and then they end up kissing.
He also says she jumped off the motorcycle.
Yeah, that's right.
She just disappeared into the woods.
She hopped off the motorcycle and ran into the woods. And she told him, I think she says, like, doesn't he say she whispered in his ear, like, I'm sorry, or something like that?
Yeah, something.
Like, they're stopped at a stoplight. I feel like you're gonna be upset when you see that scene play out in the movie.
Okay.
Because James does nothing to stop her. He just sits there and watches.
Well, they're not exactly in the middle of nowhere, but he kind of implies that they're in the middle of nowhere, and she just hops off his motorcycle. So I could imagine he was taken by surprise a little bit, because where does she think she's going?
Hey, if you were my dame and you hopped off the hog of my motorcycle and ran off into the woods, I'd chase after you, baby.
Okay.
Ain't I a romantic? Do you know that stop sign or that stoplight that we see occasionally during transitions in the show?
Yeah.
That's that stoplight at that intersection.
That's cool. That's a nice touch.
Let's see. So yeah, and then they have that discussion and they decide to bury the necklace in a very shallow hole and put a big rock on top of it. I don't know if they plan on coming back for it or if they just want to keep it buried. But that's what they do.
I would keep it buried. What are you talking about?
Well, it's a memento.
Mm.
And then as they're driving away, again, like I said, Truman and Cooper notice them, and they get pulled over. And I want to know what happens to James's motorcycle. Do they load it into the back of Truman's SUV? Do they just leave it out there?
It could have gotten towed.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. I'm sure the one towing company in this small town of 50,000 people. Oh yeah, and then we're introduced to one of the classic staples of the show, specifically when they're in the sheriff's office, the donuts.
Oh yeah, the donuts.
The donuts all laid out and stacked atop one another, all carefully, and some nice hot black coffee.
Yep.
Blacker than midnight on a starless night. Cooper and Truman sit down for some donuts, and the sheriff recommends that the FBI man stay at the Great Northern Hotel. That's also a weird thing, which I guess makes sense because they're working long hours, but Lucy set all that up at like 1 a.m. or something, whatever time it is, probably like midnight or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are they drinking coffee that late? I don't get it. I'm not a coffee drinker. But rewatching the show has really made me want to try it again. Maybe I judged those little bean juice too harshly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then it's revealed that Harry S. Truman, not the president, the sheriff of Twin Peaks, has a secret lover in Josie Packard.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you at all? Would you?
A little bit, but it was kind of like, oh, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, it's a soap opera trope of establishing all of these extraneous relationships between all the characters. Laura Palmer, what kind of shape would she be if it was like, it's not a love triangle, it's like a love octagon or something.
Yeah.
Laura Palmer, if she was a love shape, would be a love dodecahedron, maybe, or a love tesseract, might be more apt. But anyway, Catherine, remember Catherine?
Yeah.
She also informs Ben Horn about Sheriff Truman, and they plan to meet up together. Meanwhile, Harry and Josie look out to where Laura's body was found, because it's literally right in front of her house. What an unfortunate place.
That must have been awkward.
Yeah, fucking having the front yard of your house cordoned off as a crime scene. And he tells her that, according to the doctors, the murder must have happened. Oh, yeah, that's right. About 24 hours prior. That's right, because they meet up, and he's like, 24 hours ago, she was murdered at this exact time. Come here, honey. Meanwhile, Sarah Palmer, as the episode ends in a climactic scene, the episode comes to a conclusion with Sarah Palmer in her home resting as she is suddenly frightened by a vision of a gloved hand digging up James's half of the necklace, and she screams in horror as she looks on and witnesses something off screen. Maybe you were very confused by that ending.
Yeah, that ending was really weird.
What were your thoughts?
She was losing her mind.
What did you think about the vision of the gloved hand?
The gloved hand. It was interesting how it was hard to believe that someone actually found it, but the show did prove that was true. Someone did find it.
I completely forgot who it was. I was thinking it was someone else entirely. Who the gloved hand is belonging to.
Oh.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And then, the final scene is her screaming, and in the background, you see a little face popping up in a mirror, which I showed you afterward and told you about.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at that first time.
It's very not noticeable because it's less than a quarter of the screen, and that is how the first episode of Twin Peaks ends. And you were hooked. Hook, line, and sinker, like Pete and his fish.
Yes.
Would you like to hear the alternate ending?
Oh, yeah, there was an alternate ending?
Yes. So remember earlier when I mentioned an international pilot?
Yeah.
So, the producers of Twin Peaks, or Northwest Passage, were unsure that it was going to be, actually picked up as a show.
Mm-hmm.
So they told Mark Frost and David Lynch to come up with, a way to wrap it up in case it doesn't get picked up, so they can just turn it into a TV movie.
Oh.
So in the international version, obviously this is what was aired in.
Wait, is the killer the same killer?
Yeah.
What? I thought you said were never going to reveal the killer.
Well...
Or they already had it planned. But there wasn't enough clues in the first season to lead to the actual killer.
Kinda. Well, they reveal a form of the killer, I should say.
Oh.
Which, spoiler alert for anyone unaware, is an entity calling itself Bob. So here's the alternate ending.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to your seat, because you're going to be on the edge.
I'm already on the edge.
Sarah Palmer screams as she remembers seeing a gray-haired man crouching at the foot of Laura's bed. Detective Hawk sketches a picture of the man. The one-armed man then phones Cooper to tell him that Laura's killer is in the hospital. Here's a photo of Bob in the international version.
Huh.
Crawling around on the floor like a little monster. The one-armed man meets Cooper, Harry, and Andy in the morgue where Laura's corpse was, and he tells them that the light doesn't work because the transformer is bad, and then recites the Fire Walk With Me chant. He explains that he and the killer were living among the people above a convenience store. He then tells them that his name is Mike and that the killer is named Bob. He answers to Cooper that he was in the hospital earlier in the episode because he was looking for Bob, who sometimes likes to walk among the injured of the species, and that he's been searching for him for over a year. He talks about the tattoo on his left arm, and after seeing the face of God, how he cut off the arm. And these sketches are shown to him, and he recognizes the second sketch by Hawk as being Bob. I didn't realize that Hawk was the one doing those sketches. I forgot about that.
It was Hawk?
Yeah. Just another facet of Hawk that makes him incredible. Okay. I think we should all strive to be more like Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper and Harry then confront the killer Bob in a basement. I guess the basement of the hospital? Yeah, in the basement of the hospital. Where he is doing a ritual with 12 candles in a circle. Bob is disappointed that Mike is not there, wanting to sing with him again, but nonetheless speaks to his absent partner, asking if he hears him and recounting a pursuit with someone that he caught with his, quote, death bag. Mike then sneaks in the shadow of the door and is unnoticed, and he sneaks in. Bob explains that the letters were going to spell out his proper name, Robert, and he gleefully admits to murdering Teresa Banks, who had the letter T, and vows to kill again. Then Mike bursts in after his promise. Oh, Bob's promise. Mike bursts in and shoots Bob to death with a gun.
What?
And then he has a heart attack. And then the 12 candles put themselves out as Cooper says, "Make a wish." And then it cuts to 25 years later where Cooper finds himself in a red room where there a little man and Laura Palmer sit, and then she whispers something into his ear, which of course is the scene that's later used in the second episode.
What? That's just weird.
Can you imagine if this never got picked up?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end? They're talking about how, oh yeah, you know, it's like, they imply that like, oh yeah, I'm an extra mortal, an interdimensional entity beyond human comprehension. And so is my partner, my ex-partner Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Bang! He's dead. I just can't believe they shoot him to death.
Yeah, they do it a lot better on the show when they reveal the killer. That was a lot better.
Just Bob creeping around into the hospital basement for some reason. Oh, man.
Why would he be in the hospital basement?
Apparently, according to Mike, he likes to hang out with the injured.
Oh.
Also, that's an interesting tidbit, is that if Twin Peaks never got picked up, Bob wouldn't have been possessing anybody. It just would have been him.
Him just wandering around in human form.
Yeah, as whoever his human form is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to the lovely, fun trivia fact, which I love, is that, what was his name? Frank Silva? He was like a stagehand or something in the show who accidentally got filmed in the reflection of the mirror during Sarah Palmer's, big climactic ending. And David Lynch thought it was great, and so he made him the horrible killer, which just is, David Lynch saw this normal man just doing his job who accidentally ended up in a shot and thought, wow, you look like a monster who will kill teenage girls.
You look like a wreck.
I mean, kind of does.
I mean, like, for him only starting the show as, like, a stagehand and not even actual actor, he got really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they must have given him some classes or something, but, like, he definitely has one of those faces, though, where it's kind of...
He's definitely, if he was an actor, it wouldn't surprise me if he did have some acting roles just because it is Hollywood and pretty much everyone's an actor. He would be, like, a character actor. Like, if he was an actor, he would have been in, like, just, oh, hey, that's Frank Silva as... you know, the mailman in that show, and he's in this role, this small role here and there.
Yeah.
He has a very recognizable face. And, that is how it ends. The first episode. Or the international pilot, if you watched that one. Fun fact, the pilot episode was nominated for 8 Emmy Awards in 1990.
8?
8! Including Best Drama, Best Writing, Best Directing, Best Production Design, Best Actor for Kyle MacLachlan, who plays Dale Cooper. Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Laurie and Fenn, who are, I think that's Donna, and I know Fenn is Audrey. Dwayne Dunham won the Emmy for Best Editing, and Patricia Norris won for Best Costume Design for that episode.
Oh, yeah, the costumes were pretty.
Yeah, that's something that I love about David Lynch's work, is that, I don't want to say that, I'm not saying that it's all him, because obviously Mark Frost wrote this, and that's, I think, why season 1 is more of my favorite, because I think it was a lot more Frost, his ideas.
It's frosty.
Season 1 of Twin Peaks is very frosty compared to season 2. But he loves, like, 50s, early 60s kind of culture and dress and design, I suppose, and I always enjoy seeing that. I really like that. It's an out of time experience, I'd say, is what Twin Peaks is. Like, it's gonna be weird watching The Return and seeing how.
When are they doing a return?
That's season 3. That's what it was called.
Oh.
Which takes place 25 years later.
Wait, but I thought you said it goes over the beginning.
No, that's the movie.
Oh.
The movie is like a prequel about Laura. But that is the end, and I thought it might be fun for you and I to play a game of trivia.
Okay.
So, I found on funtrivia.com 200 Twin Peaks trivia questions.
200?
Yeah, we're gonna go through all 200 this episode.
I thought we were just doing the pilot.
I couldn't find specifically about the pilot trivia questions. Are you ready for your trivia question?
Yes.
What character who never appears on screen is continually referenced in the original Twin Peaks series?
Can you give me a hint?
They have to do with Agent Cooper. He speaks to... He's the
Oh,
only...
his partner that went insane.
Is that your final guess?
What? Just say... Don't ask me that. Just say yes or no.
No.
Ooh.
It is Diane.
Diane.
His assistant that he records all the messages
Oh,
for.
Diane! Yeah, I forgot about her.
Okay, here you
Hey,
go.
I was somewhat right.
I mean, he doesn't talk about his ex-partner that much.
He brings him up. Okay, question 2. At this place, Ben and Jerry did connive to keep deals with some Icelanders alive. Sitting on his floor, Ben relived Civil War while Cooper rested up in 315. Where is this?
Relived Civil War? What does that mean?
Where is this? You should know this.
The Great Northern Hotel.
Yes.
See, I did it. Oh, this will be easy for you. Laura Palmer and Bobby Briggs were the town's fairy tale high school couple. Unfortunately, Laura cheated on Bobby with a variety of men. But that's okay, because he cheated on her too, with a married woman. Again, we already established this, why that was okay. What was the name of the man that Bobby cuckolded?
Wait, Bobby what?
Cuckolded, which means to have sex with someone's wife, and you become a cuckold. It comes from the cuckoo bird, which takes over nests of other birds.
Oh my gosh, how am I forgetting his name?
Do you want the hint that comes with the question?
Yes.
There's a J in the name.
Wait, what? J?
Yeah. You're gonna be so mad at yourself for this.
Wait, what?
Do you want me to read the question?
There's a J in the name?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't start with J.
No, there's J in the name.
Oh my gosh. I forgot his name. I know his face, does that count?
No.
His... Ah!
Would you like me to read the question again so you can think about it?
I legit forgot his name. Oh my gosh.
Come on, any name. It's a pretty common last name.
Last name?
Yeah, it's first name, last name. Yes. People have first and last names. It's not Bob or Mike.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name though.
Think of Shelly. Think of
I
Shelly.
know, I was gonna say Shelly, and then you said her lover or her husband. Can I just say her husband? I know it's...
No.
That's not fair.
Fine, okay. Leo Johnson.
Oh my gosh. How did I forget his name? I knew it was him, I just forgot his name. I got that one. That's not fair.
Yeah, you got it. Alright, so it's 1-1.
The whole J in his name really threw me off. That's what his last name starts with, though.
Yeah.
That's just weird to say it like that.
But it's not wrong.
I know, but still. They should have said his last name starts with J. Okay, FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper enters the town of Twin Peaks in the pilot episode. What is the first word spoken on screen by Kyle MacLachlan as Special Agent Dale Cooper? What is the very first thing he says into the thing?
Tape recorder?
Mm-hmm.
He says... Diane?
Yeah.
It's 11:30 a.m. and I've just arrived at Twin Peaks. Something along those lines. Does it say what the full quote is?
No, it just says Diane.
Oh. Alright. I am 2-1. Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. Who was the first character to appear on screen on Twin Peaks? This is gonna be hard. This is surprising. I didn't even realize this.
On screen?
Yeah.
It was...
So just go through every character we just talked about that made an appearance in the pilot.
It was... There's a first in the Percolator, dude. I forgot everyone's name. You should let me look up the cast list really quick, because I forgot everyone's name. And wasn't it his wife, right? Because Catherine? Yeah, because... It was them, and they were all like, and he was like, I'm gonna go fishing, and she was like, and then he walks out and finds the body. Right?
I'll give you a hint, you're close.
And Josie? No, Josie wasn't showing it.
Is that your answer? Is that your final answer is Pete and Catherine?
Fine, yeah, I don't know who else it
It's
would be.
Josie.
It's Josie?
Yeah, apparently it's Josie. When David Lynch originally created the character for Isabella Rossellini, she was originally going to be an Italian woman instead of Chinese. Alright, that is 2-1.
Josie. I don't remember it being Josie.
Yeah, isn't she looking at herself in the mirror or something?
Oh, What is the name of Agent Dale Cooper's ex-FBI partner? Starts with a W.
Oh, fuck. Oh, wait. No, that makes sense. Yeah, because people have first and last names.
His first name starts with a W. His last
Wait,
name...
what?
His first name starts with a W. His last name starts with an E.
Oh, I was going to say... This isn't my answer. I was going to say Earl Wyndham, but apparently it is Wyndham Earl. All right.
You got that right, yeah.
3 for Northwest Passage Blake. 1 for Lena Palmer. Oh, this is... Yeah, I guess this makes sense. Question 7. Who owns One-Eyed Jack's casino?
Oh, the Mr. Horn dude. What's his real name? You should let me look up their names at least. Like, come on.
Fine, you can look up the cast of Twin Peaks Season 1.
I can't remember any of their names. Mr. Horn, there you go.
You are correct. It is Ben Horn.
Ben Horn. There's too many characters to remember them all by name, and I only started watching it this month. That's weird.
Oh, no.
This one's just kind of broad. What type of animal is shown sitting in a tree in the opening credits?
Oh,
of
Christ.
Is
it like,
thing you
is
never
it specific?
Not very specific.
Is it like the specific breed?
No, it's just like, what is it?
A bird?
Yeah.
Is it just say a bird?
Yeah, I was like, that's weird.
What do you mean I never like?
You never want to watch it. You tried to make me skip it that one time.
No, I just wanted to see if we could skip it.
Oh.
Oh, thank God, it just says bird. I was worried it would be the species.
Yeah, I don't even know what bird that is.
Oh, please, you gotta get this. Who finds Laura Palmer's body?
Oh, hold on, let me look at my list. I forgot his name and I don't want to mess up. Where is he? No, not you. Dang, Bobby Briggs aged.
Yeah.
No, not you. No, not you. Not you.
Well, this was
you.
almost 40 years ago.
Ooh, the picture of Bob in here is scary.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's an actual picture of him. It's not the actual actor.
Oh my gosh, where is he?
You said his name earlier.
No, you said his name for me. Pete.
What's the last name? If you don't get the last name.
Martel.
Damn it. All right. Oh, you're catching up. It's 3-4. And we got, so this is the last question, right?
Yeah, because it would be 9 to 10.
So that was question 9. So here's the last trivia question for this episode. Let's see if I can get 5. No.
You might get this.
Oh, God damn it.
What are the names of the Horn family? Hint, there are 4 names.
Fuck.
So,
Fuck.
Okay, we'll do it one at a time. Who's the father?
Well, I know 3 of them.
Okay. You said it today.
God damn it. So it's Benjamin Horn,
Uh-huh.
Audrey Horn,
Uh-huh.
Johnny Horn,
Uh-huh.
Jerry Horn. I did it.
No, it says Sylvia.
God, fuck. I was gonna. Why? Both of the wives are named S.
Yeah. But that's like the only time we see her.
Yeah, which is when she yells at that maid.
Yeah.
Welp, the final score at the end of the first episode of the trivia is Blake 4, Lena 3.
Yay.
And that brings us to the conclusion of There's a Podcast in the Percolator. Episode 1, discussion of the pilot episode of Twin Peaks, which is confusing because we have the Twin Peaks from Z to A collection, which was released several years ago, which is now going for an exorbitant amount of money. It's ridiculous. But I mean, it was limited to, 25,000 people? If every person in Twin Peaks wanted to buy the Twin Peaks Z to A, only half of them would get it. I'm just saying, 50,000 is way too high of a population. That brings us to an end. Join us next time where we discuss Twin Peaks Episode 1, Traces to Nowhere. See you then.
Thanks for listening to There's a Podcast in the Percolator. This podcast is not affiliated with or endorsed by Twin Peaks Productions. All rights belong to their respective copyright holders. Stay tuned for more episodes, and until next time, may your coffee always be black as midnight on a moonless night.